Bringing you the voice and vision of custom culture and lifestyle, as seen through the eyes of this South Texas duo. Welcome to the Custom Couple. Welcome to another episode of the Custom Couple. Sam, what's up?
Hi.
Yeah, Sam just got off work. She is cranky. No, she's not, because we fed her.
I ate, sir. I actually got to eat something. We've both been up since 5:30.
Yeah, no, today has been a day for sure. And then on the phone for our very first phone interview, we've got Chad Strop of Lucky Tramp Customs. What's going on, man?
It's another day in the life, man. Busy, you know.
Did I say your name right? I always have a fear
Yeah.
that okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I try to tell people, like, a way to remember is like, hey, drop by for a beer sometime.
Oh, I did that.
Stroop. Yeah, people say Stroop or whatever. Just drop by, man.
That needs to be on a shirt. That needs to be on a shirt. That's perfect.
Yeah, you need to market that one for sure.
I'll think about that.
So tell me about Lucky Tramp. Like, where did that all get started?
Well, I think, I just fell in love with the old irons, man. I mean, I started back in the day with my friends. You know, I've had the same friends, a lot of the same friends since elementary school. And, that you ever see that picture where it shows all the bicycles in the front yard, and then it says, when you're friends, like you're still with the same friends, but you're grown up, and it's all the old cars and trucks in the front yard. That's kind of a lot. That's my group of friends, and so back in the day, we surfed and we skated, and that was like our thing. And we started driving, and we would kind of see like something cool, or one of our buddies would do something. We kind of not really compete with each other, but keep up with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just learn and feed off one another. So it really kind of started with a 1998 Ford Ranger mini truck.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. And my friend's like, you should lower that. And I'm like, all right. So I just hammered that thing. And there's like these little mud flaps, and they were just scraping everywhere. Like I never even took them off. I just let them eat. And then later put it on airbags. And that's kind of when I started understanding how A-arm suspension worked, and, messed a lot of stuff up and had to pay people to fix it. But then I would take it all back apart. How did they fix it? And that's kind of where it evolved.
Yeah, definitely. At one point in my life, I had a 2000 Chevy S10 Extreme. And so I spent a couple months in mini trucks.
Yeah, well, it's and you know what, man, it pays off. Is it's good. It's good to know about that, because 56, 57, 58, 59, like these Apaches and stuff. Like, dude, I've clipped them trucks with those front ends. I know them. They work. You know what I mean? They're just set up for air ride, and if you want to Z and clip one, that's your clip right there.
Dude, I am not even joking. I never thought of that. Is that a thing? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Dude, right. Okay, so like say a 58 Apache, right? That was my first like classic, right? I got to score this 58 Apache.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to have help because I wasn't there yet, but my friend of mine paid him to help me. We cut the frame right in front of the firewall, and we grafted it on and welded and Z'd an S10 front clip through a bag kit in it, and through a 283 or a V8, and dude, we're golden. I mean, that thing hammered on the ground. It just ate the ground.
Dude,
and air was out of it.
That totally does your whole suspension and gives you disc brakes. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and they make like a S10 bolt-in, like a V8 adapter motor mounts or whatever. I mean, it's just so easy to do that, man. You can either spin whatever. I mean, there's different companies making, front cross members, or you can go get $100 frame, or whatever, a $500 S10, and you've got a frame, and you can either clip it or you can graft in body mounts and use the whole frame.
That is freaking amazing. I had not even thought to do that. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely awesome. So After you got out of mini trucks, like what was your first old car that you started on?
Well, that was it. It was that '58 Apache,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah. So I had some friends that I grew up with that were into the older stuff before me, and I just kind of came across my friend Chad Fisher on the west coast of Florida had the shop, and there was this Apache there. I can't even remember the details of it, but we went to look at it. I think it was like $3,200, and I could drive it up the street and turn around, and it stopped. And I'm just like, this is mine. Like I gotta have this thing. And took it to my buddy's another buddy of mine's shop, and he had a welder, and he had a torch, and he had all that stuff, and I had a foundation of fabrication by then from all the messing up. When I was younger, I mean, you kind of tear stuff up, and I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you evolve. Like, okay, well, I did this and it was wrong. I'm gonna throw it away, and I guess I'll do it this way next time. And it takes years of that, and at least for me, it did. So
Yeah, no, it
and
does. It does take years of it. I mean, some people they'll go to school for it, but I don't think you get anything close to what you would have gotten out of the experience if you just go straight through school and then you come out. Yeah, a lot of us,
yeah,
we may not get all of the tricks of the trade because we didn't go to school for it, but then at the same time, it's like, we spent a lot more time in the garage and had our hands on it and experience with it. That's how a lot of us learned.
oh man, it takes messing up, laying, it takes burning and cutting your hands, and it takes like, okay, I did this, and I just smashed my hand in this control arm, and I'm never ever going to forget that, even though the book told me that in school. Well, I didn't go to school, you know what I'm saying? Book can tell you not to put your hand there, but until you put your hand there, you know what I mean? That's when you don't forget it, and I think that's the most powerful thing is just get out there and do it, and if you can latch on to one of these old guys out there that's willing to teach you, or I've got a guy that's I've had several, but one of the biggest mentors in my life is a guy named Keith Dorfner, and he is just an encyclopedia with a gnarly white beard, dude. I mean, he is just like, I can call him and be like, all right, I got this 50, Chevy Deluxe. I'm just using my car, and this and that and that and this, and he goes, okay, this is the problem. Oh, okay, I'll give you an example. The other day, I've got a 350 in my Deluxe, and I put these valve cover breathers on, and I got cheap at the Daytona Turkey Rod Run. I just threw them in there, and I didn't have a valve in or nothing like that. And I went out there and beat the brakes off that thing, just hot rod and just trying to cause trouble,
Yeah.
And I came back and it was pissing a little bit of oil, and I was just like, dude, it's never done that. So I call him, and he says, you don't have your valve in your valve covers, your PCV valve or crank.
Oh yeah. Positive crankcase ventilation.
Correct. Yeah. And I was thinking exactly what that stood for, but I knew what it stood for, But I said, so he says you built pressure and it pushed some oil out, and I was like, well, dude, because I don't build motors. I'm not like an internal guy. I put them in and stuff like that, but it was just something that simple I wasn't thinking of. I knew that was something that needed to be in in the valve cover and stuff to release that pressure, but I just didn't think of it, and he had the answer.
Yeah,
and
no,
so
I did that exact same thing this last weekend.
Really?
Yeah, the engine that we got for the 31 didn't have one either. It just had two breathers in it, and I was like, oh, that might not work very well.
yeah, and I was like, dude, I never thought about it. And he's just like, well, take care of it, but it's having people in your life that are willing to help you.
So, Chad, tell me, you've been working with Voodoo Larry on several things, and that's what caught my eye here just a little while back. Y'all are putting together these like chop classes and metal working classes. Tell me about that. How did that get put into play?
Well, Larry and I met. It's been, I guess, a couple of years, maybe a little bit more now on social media. Just like I was kind of liking him some of his stuff, and he was digging on some of my paintwork stuff. And he plays stand-up bass, in a rockabilly band. And he's like, dude, I would love for you to paint my bass. And I'm like, dude, send it. I'll paint it for you. You know, like just get it here, and you know, I got you. You know, like just I know who you are, and I appreciate what you do. So not trying to coattail him, but just like, man, if I could do something for a guy like that, I've learned so much just watching him because he's very transparent in what he does. I mean, you know, so I'm like, to me, it was just like, dude, I'll freaking paint that thing. To me, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so we just kind of kept up like here and there, just kind of like you and I have since we found about each other, just kind of random texts and stuff. And then he said, hey, dude, how would you like to come up to the World of Wheels in Chicago and help me chop a 50 shoebox? And I'm like, dude, I would be honored. Like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, dude, come on up. And it'll be like in the convention center or whatever it is there in Chicago. And so I bought a ticket, and this guy, Zach Wade, this kid, this is a whole nother story. If we get into it, we can talk about him. But he's been apprenticing with me since he was 15.
Yeah.
And then he you know, he would just kind of come to the shop and work and stuff and learn stuff. And they said, hey, dude, you want to go to Chicago and shop a 50 Ford, you know? And he's 18 at the time then. And he's like, yeah. And, you know, I took him up with me. And, dude, when I met Larry, it was like, dude, we've known each other our whole life. I mean, it was just like the chemistry was there. And I went up there thinking, like,
and that's always the best, when you don't know how you're gonna like hit it off with each other, and then it's like, bam, wow, why didn't we meet even sooner than this? Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of stressing, you know, almost like, man, is this guy gonna be too cool for me? Because you know what I mean? Like, I'm nothing, you know what I mean? I'm not some famous car builder or nothing, you know. So I met him, and it was just like we hit it off, like we've known each other for years. So I went up a couple of times to help him do some other stuff. I got to go up and work on a 50 Barris Merc, and then I got to go back up and help him chop he's a 52 Buick hardtop, and I'm fixing. So actually, he's coming down Thursday. He's flying down Thursday to hang out with me for 5 days and help me work on a 49 Buick that's here at my house. I'm actually stuck on a couple things. I'm like, dude, can you fly down here and help me figure this freaking thing out so I can move forward? Because I just have never had the opportunity. And you know, custom's custom. I mean, sometimes you don't know until you have someone help you. You know, that was what I was talking about originally.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm there. You know, like I've come up there for him. He's like, dude, I'm there. And so he'll be in Thursday. I got to pick him up around 11:30, and so that's kind of really how it evolved. And then this last chop class that we had, my friend Brandon Osborne has a 39 Buick coupe. He's like, man, I bought this coupe at the Nika Moxon, you know, and I think I want to chop it. And I'm like, well, how about this, dude? How about I try to put together a chop class? We'll make the chop class kind of like everybody can be a part of it and learn this. It'll be a little bit financially easier on you, and everybody kind of wins from it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah,
so I called Larry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go right ahead.
Well, I keep I'll keep going if you let me. But so anyway, long story short, I called him like, hey, I can put this class together. I can pay you this much. I can put you up on this incredible lake, Alligator Lake. We're surrounded by lakes too, and Alligator Lake, little hotel like built in the 50s, and I can get you paid. I can pay you up. I can take you for a boat ride, and I got cheap whiskey. And he says, "Book a flight."
Done.
Done. And
dude, do you always give away these vacations?
Well, that's part of the thing. Everybody came, and the class was 500 a head. You know what I mean? So you've got material. I've got to fly him down, put him up. You know, I gotta make his. I gotta pad his pocket a little bit because
of course,
that's what he does. And I threw this party, like a pre-chop party, and I had like a vintage, like a retro country band play. I built this bar with Coca-Cola coolers and had some pretty girl like pouring beers with everybody because COVID. I didn't want everybody, and when we barbecued, and I didn't want everybody licking the barbecue sauce off the fingers and pouring a beer. So I hired some girl to come in, and it was actually Scarlett Sinclair's daughter. I don't know if you're Scarlett
Really?
Sinclair.
Yeah, no, I know Scarlett Sinclair.
Okay, well, Scarlett and I and her husband Sean Keys, he's the president of the Florida Roadman chapter. We're all good friends. So she's like, "I'll get my daughter to come out," and I think she made like $800 in 4 hours or something.
Oh my God,
that's awesome! I didn't know you knew them like that. That's awesome.
Oh, we're really close. So the beer was free, the food was free, and this girl made $800. Like I was like, I spent money, and this girl came out and killed it. I'm like, oh my God! But of course, I wasn't wearing some half shirt with a lacy bra sticking out of it either.
So what you're saying is you missed your opportunity to be in one.
I'm not down with the trans thing yet, but I mean,
not yet.
I don't think I'm going to be on board with it. I wouldn't make a pretty girl. I just did some live Facebook video the other day of my kid and my wife putting makeup on me, and it was a total shit show, dude.
We saw it. It was absolutely wonderful.
You very pretty.
No, I want to believe you.
But no, man. So, now you got me wanting to come to Florida. You talked it up, man.
Bro, listen, I'm 30 seconds from this boat ramp from this beautiful lake. It chains up 3 other lakes, and I'm 10 minutes from this other chain of lakes at 5 lakes. And there's sandbars, so people park their pontoon boats, crack their grills open, grill bratwurst, hamburgers, and they party and they drink cocktails and beer all day long, and it's a good time.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what Mike Aiken's been trying to get us to
do. Dude, Mike Aiken came here. Mike Aiken came here for the chop class, and we partied, bro.
Yeah, him and Steve Lee, I think, came with him. Maybe
the hillbilly Vato, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that guy, I'm like, how could you not love that guy?
Oh, he's amazing. We love him. He's actually trying to get us at the end of this month. We're gonna go out and do some interviews with him, and he's like, "Yeah, we can go hang out on the boat. We can just eat and drink all day." I was like, "Well, we got to record." He's like, "Even better."
Yeah, he's the best, dude. He just he came and he was like, all of a sudden he turned into the host at my party. Like he wanted to make sure everybody was okay. Hey, oh wait. I said, "What are you doing?" He's, "Oh, the trash is full." I'm like, "Dude, I got it." And he was just like, I was like, how could you not love that guy?
No, he'll do that in a heartbeat. Super nice dude. I met him a bunch of years ago, and then when me and Sam got together, she had the pleasure of meeting him. Mm-hmm. And we're planning to go up and stay with him for a weekend, and then he wants us to go with him to. He's got a spot there in Florida that he's going to for 4th of July, and
he's trying to get me to come down too. And my problem is I get so busy. Like people will message me, and not saying I'm that popular, but dude, I'll ignore my phone and I'll come back and I'll have all these messages like, "Oh my God!" So I'm just really bad at being social because I work a lot of hours. I'm just always working. I got 3 boys and a wife, and I just.
So now is Lucky Tramp Customs your main gig, or do you actually you have a second job on top of that?
It's my main gig,
dude. That's awesome.
Well, it can be and it can't be, man. I mean, I have a lot of people that try to play me, and people. Yesterday, I spent an hour and a half on the phone with a guy that wanted to build a car, and dude, I'm bringing you such and such tomorrow to start and this and that today. And then today it was like, so I was talking to my wife, right? And it's like, oh my God, every guy uses their wife. Just tell me you don't want to do it. Like it's just kind of like, it can be rewarding because you're doing what you love, but it can still be a job. You know what I mean? Like it started as a hobby, and sometimes you kind of feel like, man, I'm making everybody else cool. What about me? You kind of, you don't get time for yourself.
Dude, I know several people who have tried to take on, doing their own business and, trying to build cars as a business, and they just utterly fail at it because, you do have a lot of those people that they'll bullshit you. They'll want $100,000 car and they want it on a $20,000 budget. And
yeah, yep, you're right, man. And dude, I know some of the big names, man. I mean, I know Larry, and they're just good. But I know other guys that have names, and dude, they have the name and they have the fame, but dude, they ain't got fat pockets. I mean, they're working their tails off for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you've got these other big companies that are on television and stuff that, like, man, some of the guys that just, I don't know, some of the guys I know that are big names, like, they're not chilling, like, they're not stuffing their bank account.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
we saw firsthand that down here in Texas. We won't mention anybody, but we saw that firsthand down here. You know, it was like they had their own successful business and they were kind of just dipping their hands in too many things and not focusing on one and trying to make it perfect or, you know, successful. And it was like, why isn't this making money? It's like, well, you got your hands everywhere else. You're not paying attention to what you're doing. You know, you got to focus on one thing and go from there. And that's where, you know, we came to be what we are now and being by ourselves, because it's like, no, we can focus. Yes, I do work a lot of hours though. Like, I understand you completely with being busy. I work almost in 2 weeks during that like Christmas, December time. I worked 145 hours in 2 weeks. I was dead. Yeah. So, you know, when we started
I appreciate your hustle.
Thank you.
Seriously, yeah.
When we started, you know, doing this, it was like, okay, we have a calendar. I have to watch it as good as possible with my schedule, with his schedule, with scheduling interviews, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, damn, like this is actually taking up a good amount of time. But it's like, if I keep on top of it, it's like, okay, we're going to see, you know, a good amount of views, good feedback, good, you know, go from there. And it's just like, man, we got to hustle right now to hopefully, you know, go down the line and like, this is going to be our line of business, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope it is, man. Cause you know, I've been listening to your stuff and you're interesting. Like, you know, I'll throw it on my, you know, my radio in my truck or whatever, and I'll listen to it. And it's, you know, I was listening to one, Sunday or something about your friend that whistles or whatever. And he was telling some story about the fireworks or whatever. He was whistling. And I'm like, gee, that is so, because I have another friend that does this whistle thing. Like, he's like, so this guy was wearing a toupee and like the wind was blowing and his hair was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yes. Like, oh my God. It took me back to that story. I'm like, I totally get the whistle thing. Like, it's so funny.
But, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think you guys are, you're doing good, man. I think it's solid, and I wouldn't tell you that, you know, for no reason. So,
well, we definitely appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's you know, there is a ton of things like you talked earlier. You know, the podcast, like it was kind of ahead of its time when I did it before, and now we're like on this upswing of like everything's kind of cool again lately, and like, you know, custom cars are kind of cool, and having a hot wife is not terrible, and
with my own car,
with her own car.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, so you know, it like yeah, it's just like really awesome to see how like all these, you know, things are coming together. And then now we've started this podcast, you know, this is episode 6. And, you know, I'm getting messages like left and right with people who have actually gone and listened to the podcast. And they're telling me about things that they heard on the podcast. And they're like, I remember doing something like that. Or I had friends that did those things. And, hey, you interviewed my friend. And I really appreciate that. And like, I'm just starting to get like interviews or like, you know, people who want to be on the show and people who are just digging what we're doing. And it's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll grow. Like I said, this is episode 6. Like we still got like 10 to go at least.
At least 10. Great goal.
10,000.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's go on 10,000.
Dude, we'll go from being once a week to like a daily show. Like we'll have our own morning show.
I'll be in bed. Good night. No.
Do it.
Lane Rogan.
Yeah. There you go. I just said on the episode that actually came out today, which people will hear this and be like, "You're talking about this episode?" No, the one from last week, folks. And Rigid Rob, he tells me, he goes, "Yeah, I want Joe Rogan's money." I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, you do." I mean,
Yeah.
that's where we're at with it. I mean, yeah, we're small time, but we ain't gonna stay there. That's not the plan.
Yeah, you shoot, you shoot big.
Dude, so tell me about this Buick, man, this 49 Buick, because I have a thing in my heart for Buicks. I have that whole oddball GM shit, the BPO. Uh,
Yeah,
so tell me about this Buick, man. What is that, a customer's car?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's my friend Sean's car, and I met him. He owns a place called Southern Hydraulic, and he does like hydraulic hoses, for tractors, and like that's making all these custom hoses or whatever in line. They've turned it into something very successful, and his wife Kat's amazing. They're
Awesome.
just amazing people. And so I was in his shop one day, and he's like, "Yeah," he was saying something like, "Yeah, I've got this tool, whatever, and come here, I'll show you real quick." And we hit it off, and he walks me out there, and I just hit the brakes, and I'm just like, "Dude, what is that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's my '49 Buick." I'm like,
Just some
"Dude,
trash over there in the corner.
Oh, that
yeah,
old thing.
yeah, like, dude, let's not talk about like what I need right now. Let's talk about that. And so next thing we're like an hour and a half later, people are like in his shop, and he's just like, "Hey, yeah, telling his work, like, go talk to him, and we're talking, we're hanging out as buds now."
Hell
And
yeah.
so this guy took this car, and he did a hardtop conversion. So he cut the tops of the doors off and grafted them onto the car, which I know happens, right?
Sure.
And it's a fleet line. And what I understand, the hardtops in like a hardtop or convertible, the strength is completely different, like from one car to the other in the chassis. This is just what I've heard from, the guys that have more knowledge than myself. So the quarter windows are huge. So I was like, well, he asked me to take it on because, well, we started following each other on social media way after that or whatever. He was, "Dude, I didn't know you did what you did and stuff." And he said, "Would you work on this car for me? Because this guy that did it before did all this stuff." So I said, "Yeah." He like left town. So I'm working. So we finally get the car over here, and we're working on the car, and we're sanding on the car. And as I'm sanding on the car, the holes, like the door handles that were supposed to be shaved and all that stuff, just fall out. Like the guy just held a piece of like poster board behind it, swiped it, and let it roll. And I'm like, "Dude, I gotta strip this car." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, this whole car has been shaved with mud." He's like, "Yeah, but this guy's supposed to be good." And I was like, "Keyword supposed to be." Like,
Yeah.
Air
That sounds
quotes. Air quotes. It's supposed to be.
that sounds exactly
yes.
like the Chaffee drop I got on the 54 I had. Oh my
Dude.
god.
Oh my God. It was a horror. Have you, like, at some point, you're going to have to show him these pictures. That thing was so beautiful, and it just, it became a giant pile of nothing.
Yeah.
You might have seen the page at some point in time. I took the page down eventually just because I was getting like reminders of like how bad of a time I had in my life. Yeah, I had a 54 Buick that was absolutely drivable, pristine car, had a few little body dings in it, and that was it. And it went into a shop and never came out. And
Dude, I hear
oh
it all the
man.
time, bro.
Dude, that sounds exactly like what happened with mine. And dude, shoddy work sucks, man.
Well, I mean, people sell BS, man. They just need a job. That's the way it is, and I mean, you roll the dice on it.
Yep.
You don't know. I mean, these guys out there that don't know, they want a cool car, they roll the dice on it, they win or lose. And
Absolutely. And at the same time that you deal with BS with customers that aren't gonna really follow through with everything that they want. You have shops out there that it's a guy just trying to do something because he saw something that looked cool on TV and he has no clue what he's doing. And that's the difference between like actually making this your lifestyle and your livelihood, and just trying to be Joe Cool out there. There's people out there just ruining shit because they want to be that cool guy.
Well, these shops pick up on that. These shops pick up on this guy don't know nothing, and
Yep.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna tell him we can do whatever he wants because he's ready to stroke a check. Like that's and there's a lot of shops out there. And so we brought this thing in, and I was honest with him. I was like, "Look, Sean, I was like, there's some things on this car I don't know how to deal with because I've never had to deal with it. I mean, it's
right.
It's there's things that are always going to be out of a certain person's league. You get excuse me, but so right now we're at the quarter windows. The quarter windows to the doors are a certain angle. You got your quarter window that comes to the door. That's one angle.
Right.
Then your door shoots out. That's a second angle. And then your wing windows is a third angle. There's three angles there. And when you chop a car, those angles become more drastic. You know what I mean? Because your top's coming down, so everything, your quarter glass, your door, everything seems it's more drastic. So I wanted to do the hair Hotta curve like Bob Hair Hotta Merc that George Barris did back in the day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well I'll do some slide out quarters, right? We'll slide the quarters out, and we'll make frames for the quarters, stuff like that. And the doors had no skins. This guy cut the skin completely out. Who knows where they went? And then he took two pieces of 16 gauge and spot welded them together, and they were all bent up, and that was only so you open the doors and it falls 6-7 inches.
Oh my god,
it's crazy, dude! And I'm so I had to make a door skin. I had to do all this stuff, and I'm having trouble with those angles because should I put them in there and say here's your car? Yeah, but I want them to seal. I want them to function. I want it to be right. So I called Larry, dude. Well, when he came down for the class, he saw it and he's like, dude, I can get you through this. Obviously, it wasn't the time because we had other business, but he's just like, dude, I just need to come back down where it's not, a class and a party because, dude, people after the class, people would hang out here till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow!
And there was, dude, there's some stories I can tell you. These guys, not on the podcast, but. There's guys that flew down there and partied so hard they never showed back up to the class. They came to the pre-party, they paid for the class, they flew to the class, they put themselves in a hotel for the class, and they partied so hard they laid up all weekend in the hotel.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god, I'm that is so funny. But yeah, so he's coming down. He's going to get that. He's going to get me in check on that. And it's an opportunity to learn. I get to learn. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Dude, that is absolutely awesome, man. So what do you have, coming up next as far as, other builds that are coming into the shop and, other than the 49 that you're working on right now?
A 60 Thunderbird from Texas.
Well, I got a 60 Thunderbird coming from Texas. No, I've got the 49, and then I've got Brandon Osborne's 39 Buick still in here that we chopped for the class, and it just keeps going. He's like, oh, so can you do this? So now we've got the straight 8 in it that we got an adapter kit to go to a $700 for. So we're doing driveline stuff on that and finishing the trunk. I did some custom seat metal stuff in the trunk and all that stuff. So we just gotta finish that, and then he's already bought another 58 Apache that he wants to do a bunch of stuff too with an S10 front clip, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And then this 40 Plymouth that I have that I posted up for sale the other day. That's been just another customer that talks the talk and then goes,
Really?
Oh my god, dude! It's I don't even want to talk about it because it hurts to say that. But
no, I totally understand that.
Yeah. So anyway, this 40 Plymouth, which is just a sick car, 40 Plymouth Cube, and it's a long story, but it was going to be a chopped, channeled air ride car. It was just going to be a ground pounder. It's going to be a cool car, and it's just turned into a nightmare dealing with the customer. He's literally crazy. that's just part of the game, you know.
Yeah, like I
when the
couldn't
money's not
imagine.
there, they disappear.
I could not imagine somebody having my car and then ignoring them when they call. It's like
Oh my
normally
god.
I'm the one calling like daily. It's like, is everything okay at your shop? Did you have any break-ins last night? Did it hail
Yeah.
last night?
Oh, well, just remember as bad as my Thunderbird was gone. My Thunderbird was gone for 2 months, and I was freaking out. I was like, are you sure I have to call them again? I haven't heard anything from them. And then,
Really?
yeah, and then when we went to go pick it up, it left worse than when I dropped it off. So my heart sank. Like, my heart was so broken. I was so upset about it. And I was like, let's just get my damn car home. Like, I don't even want it here anymore. Like, the whole time I was just like so hopeful. Like, you have so much hope and trust when it comes to cars. You're just like, you know what? I feel really good about this. I want to give them a chance. I want to, help them and also help me at the same time. And then when you go, it's like, well, shit, I was wrong.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like the shops that do that to people, it seems like a lot of them never get a bad name. They just keep rolling, making money, and doing the same thing. And it's like,
and that's exactly what happened. Like, we heard nothing but good things about the shop. Like, they were like, oh yeah, they're gonna know what they're doing. They have their own private fence. They can keep it covered. It'll be fine. I shit you not, and I'm sorry. Like, I get frustrated about it because I still get frustrated about it to this day. Like, when I went to go get my car, it had like fucking tree sap all over it, bird shit on it. It was like, it looked like they just dumped it in a tree lot and was like, all right, cool, well, here, come pick up your car. It looks like shit now. I had like new scratches on it that I'd never seen. I was like, no, I know my car inside and out. This is not right. So like, we went, I was like, give me my fucking keys. I was like, y'all are gonna pay for the tow to take it home because y'all fucked up my car. Because my car was running and driving. Yeah, like every other car, it has its bugs. So that's what it was going for, to fix like these little minor leaks and everything, right? I drive down the street. I completely break down. I can't turn. I have no fluids. I'm overheating. I was like, where did all these problems come from? I didn't have them when I dropped it off. Oh, yeah. It was a nightmare. It was so bad.
Yeah. And that also came from taking an old car to a shop that, tinkers on old cars. They weren't a hot rod shop of any sort. Like their bread and butter was oil changes and state inspections. It's like we got told that, oh, these guys are hot rodders and they've got some old cars in there that they're building for themselves, and
we saw a couple of them there, but there was a reason why they were still there.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like it's almost like they didn't have the love for working on this type of a vehicle, and it definitely showed, because once they got frustrated with it and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with the steering, they just gave up.
They straight up gave up. They told you, we can't figure this out. You can just come pick up your car. We'll pay for it to send it back home. I was like, oh my God, I've never had to encounter that. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, how do you run a business like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. They probably wanted to pay for it because they didn't want to deal with the consequence if your car was in worse shape than when it got there. So it's like, well, let's just pay to get it there, and we won't have to deal with them in person.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it sucks. That's just how things go sometimes. Especially we've all gone through with old cars. It doesn't. Things don't just get fixed overnight sometimes, and sometimes it's pretty damn complicated when it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of people say, oh my God, dude, you're living a dream. It's like, no, all the time, man. But there's freedom in what I do. I mean, I can wake up tomorrow and hook my pontoon boat up and say, dude, I'm gonna go drink beer on the lake all day. I never do because I'm busy, but I mean, it's kind of like nice waking up knowing you could say that, but
yeah, there's still consequences at the end of the day, but
And if I may ask, how long have you had your shop?
So I started the name Lucky Tramp Customs. It's been about 10 years ago.
Oh wow!
And the way the name came up is a few of my friends and I were at the beach. And were hanging out, and I had this amazing tribal tramp stamp on my lower back. Right?
Really?
Dude, amazing, bro. Like, all the chicks wanted me or laughed at me. I can't remember.
If you get them laughing, that's the first step.
Yeah.
That's our whole marriage right there.
So my friend Troy Banks, like, look him up. Troy Banks, please. He's an amazing guy. But he takes his elbow and drops the elbow on my lower back, and he goes, "The tramp hammer, bam!" Right? and I fall in the sand all sweaty, and I look like a powdered donut, like on the beach. Right? And I get up and like, and we all look at each other and like, that's who we are. We're the Tramp Hammers. That's our car club. We're the Tramp Hammers, right? Like, we're stoked, halfway, just halfway lit. So we're like, okay, that's who we're the Tramp Hammers. So we make stickers, shirts. We just completely nerd out on this thing, right? And he's got like some Polaris station wagon with a root beer flake roof, and I've got my Apache, and Josh Wheeler's got a chopped 49 shoebox, and Tommy Berry, he's been on National Geographic, did the run with the Oilers, the Race of Gentlemen, all that stuff. He's got a 29 Roadster, so now we're cool, right? We got a name. And so one day I'm hanging out with all my buddies drinking beer and doing this "I love you guys" thing, and I'm like, I'm so lucky to be a Tramp Hammer. We are so tight, like nobody has what we have. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a lucky tramp. I'm lucky to be a Tramp Hammer. I'm a lucky tramp. And that's like corny, but that's how the name. So I ran with it. I was just like, Lucky Tramp Customs, And so I started doing like motorcycle tanks, flaking candy, stuff here and there, trying to make a couple extra bucks in the 2-car garage kind of thing. And my trade was fencing. I started fencing, like not sword fighting, like installing like around your house. Right. I started out when I was 17. I would leave high school early to go to a fencing company. Sorry about my burps and drinking beer.
Oh no, drink it up.
So, yeah. So I'd ride my skateboard from Lyman High School, Longwood, Florida, to perimeter fence, and I would wrap gates or whatever, and I stuck with it. I did it for almost 23 years. So 10 years ago, I'm doing the Lucky Tramp thing, and I'm fencing at the same time. And I start getting busy. And my wife comes in. Finally, my wife's just like, listen, you got to pick one. You're working all day. You're working all night. Like, you're beat. I'm beat for making up for you not being in here helping. Like, my wife's my best friend. Like, we dated when we were 15. We, like, went, like, separate ways later because we were young and came back together. Like, she's like everything to me. And I listen to her, because she's always right. So
you're the only one. You're the only man in this whole world that has ever said those words.
Dude, listen, I know now. I'm 42. I know. Because every time she says, listen, dude, you're making a bad decision, and I look at her and I'm like, dude, you're a crazy hooker and you don't know what you're talking about. And every time I get my ass handed to me and she just gives me that smile. Like, I'm so glad you're broken right now. And I'm like, so
he cannot right. Look at me right now as you were saying this. He cannot look at me. He is looking straight, and I'm looking right at him like, I know damn well what that smile is.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're sleeping in the front yard today.
Yeah. So she's like, you need to pick one. You either need to do Famous Fence. That was my company, Famous Fence. You either need to do Famous Fence or Lucky Tramp Customs. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you win or lose at. But I need you to pick one because I need you. I need your time, and I miss you, and I love you, and I will stand by you whether you make it or you fail. And I said, babe, I'd really like to do the car thing. I want to, I'm burnt on the fence. I need sun all day. I can't find anybody to help me because it's hard work. And she goes, fine, do it. And I literally sold my truck, my flatbed truck, and all of my fencing tools. So I didn't even have the option of doing it.
Oh, wow.
And so I would sell this tool that did fence, and I would buy this tool that did cars. And I would, you know what I mean? I'd sell this truck, and I would buy a car trailer. Like, I was just like, I'm trading. Like, because I had to have tools. I had to have a way to work. So I just went for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Lucky Tramp, the name came from that, and then I went from fencing and doing both, and then finally to this full time, and then just started latching on to these guys that had knowledge. And
dude, that's awesome, man. That
yeah,
like there's an analogy there when it comes to like when people have goals of something that they want to do, like it's the story of hang gliding. If you run full force at the edge of that cliff and give it your all and jump, that's when that hang glider comes in and catches wind, and you go safely to the ground. If you half-ass it and you half-step that last bit, or you don't give it your all, you're not going to catch wind, and you're just going to tumble down the side of that cliff. And that's exactly what you did. You're like, I'm going to sell this stuff, and so I can't use that as a crutch and go back to it. I'm going to make this work. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to go back to it. I needed a little bit of money, a little bit of cushion money, and then I started really researching, the guys that make all this like happen, that kind of like, like Gene Winfield, that started shopping cars.
Yeah.
He's June 16th. He's going to be 94, I think.
Yeah, I think 94.
Yeah, 94. He
And
came
still,
down, stayed a week with my family and I, man.
And still puts tools in his hands and chops cars.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 years ago, he came down to do a workshop. And I said, hey, where do you want to, I called him. Like, they're like, how did you get Gene Winfield down here? I'm like, dude, I literally called his shop and was like, hey, would you ever want to come to Florida and do a workshop? Because I would love to. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, I got to meet him a few years ago at Mercury Charlie's here and they're in Austin, Texas. I got to go and take pictures of him. He was doing a class there, and Charlie was a friend of ours, and he let me come in and just kind of stay behind the scenes and take pictures while Gene was doing his class. And I got to talk with him and got his autograph, of course, because that was the first time I'd met him. And absolutely super nice dude. Just, I mean, his stories are amazing. And of course, he's been on several car shows, car podcasts, things of that nature. And I've gotten to hear, his story a few times of, how he got his start and all that. Absolutely cool dude. And, does amazing things well into his 90s, and that's I hope I'm doing that much into my 60s.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I got his autograph too. It's on my right arm, dude. So when he came, I said, hey Gene, I want you to sign my arm, and my tattoo artist wants to come over and meet you, and he's gonna bring his tattoo gun and he's just gonna burn it right into my arm right after you sign it. And he goes, okay. So my tattoo, my friend Clint comes over. He's a low rider guy. He's got a 65 Impala and super cool guy. He comes over and he does it, and Gene's holding my arm and stuff like that. And Gene goes, you're the 15th person. He's sitting there looking, and he's like, you're the 15th person to do this. And I go, are you serious? He goes, yep. He goes, I'm thinking, you're number 15. You're the 15th person to have my. And I said, hey, Clint, put a number 15 right next to it. And he did. So I'm like, if I ever meet somebody with a Gene Winfield tattoo, I'm going to be able to be like, look, dude, I'm number 15. Like, I don't know if it was real. I don't know. Who knows? What I mean? He's 92 at the time. Even if he made it up, I want the number 15 on it. Because that's, what I mean? That's what
that's
he said.
hilarious.
So,
it's like, part of the story.
Today is the 15th. You are the 15th.
Yeah. Let's do it. So I just said put number 15. So there's like a little hashtag 15 after.
That's amazing.
That is just like when artists do like a set of renderings and they number all of them. Your Gene Winfield's number 15. You can meet all the other signatures out there. So if
you
you're
have
listening
a signature,
to this, I love it.
Right? If you have a signature, please send it in. We want to find all 15 of you.
Yeah, it'll be the custom couple scavenger hunt. Welcome to the chaos. I love it. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up because we actually have been rolling for a good freaking 50 minutes already. That's awesome.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Of course, like we don't have a set time limit on these. Like, I can tell Jason to just edit it for me, and he'll put out a 3-hour long show, and he wouldn't care. Jason's our producer, so shout out to Jason. Mm-hmm. He got us all set up on all of this, and got all these first episodes out for us. Like, I'm giving him things on Monday night, and he's having them out by Tuesday morning. So. Yeah.
Nice.
In our defense, it was our daughter's birthday, so you had a free pass. We were exhausted.
Oh my God, I'm still exhausted.
So hey, I would like to put some shout outs.
Oh, of course.
100%. That's how we end all of our shows, is with shout outs. So go for it, man.
Okay, just some of the guys that have been like amazing and responsive and just extremely supportive in what I do. Gene Winfield, number one. Voodoo Larry, obviously, him and I've become really good friends. And by the way, just when you meet him in person, every builder has haters. I don't care who you are. Gas Monkey, Voodoo Larry, even Gene Winfield, him and I've talked, and we had, we stayed a week, so we had some really in-depth conversation. And every builder has, just because they're famous doesn't mean they don't have people that talk smack about them. So,
100%. I'm sure there's a ton of them out there.
So just Gene Winfield, Voodoo Larry, Oz Welch. Oh my God, like that guy's been. If I have a question, he's boom anytime. Like, hey, thank you, bro. Like, hey, anytime, ask me questions. These guys just want to keep it going. And Alex Gambino, I showed up to his shop like a lost puppy dog in San Jose, California, and just wanting to buy a T-shirt. And he comes out and like, dude, when you see this guy in person, you're like, oh man, maybe I should have stopped here. Like he just has that look like, dude, I will beat the brakes off you, man. Like he just has this mean look, but he is the most amazing person, and he's just a genuine guy. To where I stayed, had lunch. He's like, hey, you want a hot dog? I'm gonna grill some hot dogs. Yeah. Hey, you want to help me make a transmission cover for this chopped 54 Chevy? Yes.
Oh my God, did you really?
Yeah. And then he's like, hey, you want to stay for dinner? Dude, I was out of town for work. I was doing some seasonal work, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're gonna cook some chicken. I'm like, okay. And he goes, dude, why don't you just crash here? Because dude, they just crash in their shop. Like they'd be like, dude, they had it set up to where during the week they just crash in their shop. They had like TV, like it's dope. The FU-54 was in there. Like it's
no way,
bro, dude. Yes, and so I got to tell the story real quick. So
do it, man. Go for it.
Yeah, listen, dude, I got some stories. So. And I got an awesome story about Gene too, and I don't want to keep you guys.
No,
you go right ahead.
So Alex is like, yeah, you want to crash here, right? And Alex is pretty much straight edge, but dude, he is all about coffee, man. Like, he is like, I don't know how old Alex is, but he has got some energy, and he has a passion for customs, and he has a passion for Gene, and he just respects the culture and everything about it, and so does Larry, Oz, obviously, and another guy. Like you want to check out an amazing YouTube video? You get on there and look up Mike Bello. Okay. Like Bello Customs. Look up Mike Bello. Like the stuff he's doing, like tail dragger stuff, like really cool, like 30 stuff, like late 30 stuff. But so Alex is like, why don't you just crash here? So I'm like, okay, and I'm in like Dickies. My shirt, I've been working. He's like, yeah, I got the shower. They had like the shop shower and stuff, and I get cleaned up and stuff. And so I lay down like in the like spare bedroom when people come in town or his friends or whatever. They just had it set up. It's cool. And he had the first car ever on hydraulics
Oh,
in the
wow.
shop. Dude, it was nuts, man. It had been updated, but so I'm beat. I go to sleep, right? And it's like, I don't know, like 12 o'clock at night, right? And I get this, like, I'm like, what the hell? Wake up. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I kind of like cracked the door and he goes, hey, man. And I'm like, hey. He goes, get dressed. We're going for a candy run. And I'm like, I'm a Florida. I'm in California. I'm like, what's a candy run, bro? He goes, Butterfingers, Mexican shit. And I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, my wife has a sweet tooth. So do I. And I'm like, I put my dickies on, yeah. So I get dressed, and here we are, hightailing it down the road, tail dragging, and we pull in this convenience store, and we load up on Butterfingers, Nestle, Reese's Pieces. Like, it was like amazing, dude. I'm like,
he was literally going out for candy.
I mean, you act like I don't send you to go do that,
dude.
You're right. You're right.
Listen, when Alex, like, when he comes in, he's like, let's go for a candy run. You're in California, you are completely out of your environment. You're like, are we talking nose candy? What kind of candy? Like, what are we talking about?
What kind of special candy?
And he is genuinely like, no, my wife, like, I want Butterfingers, I want some Reese's Pieces, like, and I'm like, this is the most amazing, like, and we're laughing, we're riding, it's just amazing. And then Gene comes down. This is another cool story, and I'll be quick. Gene comes down. Well, when he comes down for the class, like, he had some issues and stuff. I had actually run into the doctor, whatever. It's no big deal, but he was just, he's 92 and just had a couple of things, the humidity down here and stuff. So I said, man, let's just run up there like after the class, and he wasn't feeling too hot. And so next thing you know, we're like, he's like crashed out like in the bed, and there's a TV going, and I'm like in a chair, and I've got my head to the left, and I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, all right, dude, like, I've been doing this forever. Like, I said, dude, scoot over. He's like, whoa, what do you mean? I was like, dude, I'm just gonna lay down in bed with you so we can watch this together. He goes, all right. So here I am in this bed, like, just like with Gene Winfield, and we're watching television together. And what's that car? I don't even know. Like the Avante, what is it? Like I don't even know what it is. It was like, I think it was ahead of its time or something. We're watching American Pickers, and they scored this car. And I said, what do you think of those cars? Gene is just like out of 50s, I think 60s or something. What do you think of that car? He goes, I think they're pretty good. I said, what do you like about it? He goes, well, you see the whole front grille and the headlight assembly and stuff like that? And I said, yeah. I designed all that for Ford.
Oh, jeez.
I said, what? He's like, I designed all that. It was like, I can't remember the year of the car, but he made that for them. Like,
it was his idea. It's his concept.
Like they hired him. What is it? Is it a Ford Avante? How do you pronounce it? Avante? I don't know. But
I'm not even sure. I'm gonna look it up though.
I'm already doing it.
Sam's already Googling it.
Look it up, Sam, and let me know.
She's already about it.
Avante or something like that. I'm grabbing another cold beer. You guys need one?
Let's see. I'm trying to.
So anyway, we're watching this random television show, and he designed the whole front of the car. I mean, and I'm just sitting there thinking. I mean, that's when it just smacked me. Like, you don't even know the history that you're sitting next to. Like the.
Oh yeah.
And then when it's all gone, Lane, when it's all gone and it's over, and he's back in California, and I'm here at my house, that's when you appreciate it. That's when you go, I can't believe that happened.
Right.
Because when it's happening, you're like, okay, it's happening. And then you're laying in bed at night and you're going, dude, that was the most amazing experience. Like,
wow, yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Very special.
Dude, I attribute that to like car show weekends. You go out, you have an amazing time at the car show. You actually got to take a cool ride to a show with your club brothers and sisters, and and you didn't overheat getting into the show, and everybody was good, and y'all just ran around the whole weekend and had a blast. And Sunday comes around and you got to go home, and then Monday comes around and you have that like car show hangover where you're just
Oh
like,
yeah,
man, like you realize at that point, like you're like, damn. I really appreciated this weekend that I got to spend with good people and friends, and have experiences. And I think life is just too many people are just like working so hard at working, instead
yeah,
of like working hard to be better for themselves and to have
absolutely.
these experiences. And dude, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people in their lives are just they're working towards money. They don't get to experience life, or because they're sacrificing having a good time and experiencing life, or living their life through Facebook or whatever. And it's just like, dude, I don't want to be on my in my 80s or whatever, looking back and going like, man, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. I mean,
Yeah, for real.
you gotta live, dude.
Absolutely. No, you are 100% right about that, man. So while me and Sam try to figure out how we're going to plan our vacation for Florida now,
Come on,
come on. I love
anytime.
it.
Yeah,
My
anytime.
buddy Jerry Jeff, he's out there. He's a
Hey,
Texas.
Jeff. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
friends on Facebook.
Yeah, he's a Texas boy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's actually a friend of mine from here in San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he ended up out there, not too far from where you're at.
Yeah. Is he
He
Ticeville or something? Or he's on the East Coast, ain't he? Or
Yeah, he's I can't remember where he said he was at, but he told me to come out there anytime. I was like, man, I'm starting to learn that I got more friends in Florida than I do in Texas right now.
dude, Florida's amazing, man. Just get here.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Get here.
Now,
Yeah.
when folks are hearing this podcast, this is going to be episode number 6, and it will be so to us right now it'll be next Tuesday. But so if you're listening to this podcast right now, Sam will actually be in California this weekend for the Silverado Showdown.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Absolutely terrified, but I'm excited to go. So I just found out recently, man, we were like, oh, we're going to do shout outs. So we totally kept going on a tangent. This is amazing. So I'm actually going out to Orange County for the Silverado Showdown. And there's this pinup contest, and I don't usually do them. I do the ones here in San Antonio because, no offense to anybody that's in San Antonio, but we don't really have big shows. They're kind of tiny. So I like doing them just because it's like, oh, okay, it's everybody I know. Out of, I think, over 100 people or 100 girls that submitted, I was chosen for the top 10 finalists for the pinup contest. I am the only girl that is out of state. I'm the only one. They all live in Orange County. And I was like, well, shit. So I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, so isn't that freaking awesome? Like, so there's 9 Orange County girls that are going to be in Orange County for a pinup contest.
And one Texas.
And one Texas gal coming out and going to tear the West up.
And see, the funny thing is, I'm from San Jose, California. I just winded up in Texas, and I've stayed here ever since. So when you were talking about Alex Gambino, he has Gambino Customs out there. I know exactly where he's at. And so a couple of my friends and my family that live out there, they've been wanting to get work by him done. They've met him. He's a really cool dude. So that's actually pretty funny. I was like, wait a minute. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to get Gambino on the podcast. I'm sure I could just as easy just message him and see what happens. I mean, what's the worst? Dude. He doesn't read my message.
No, if he man, he's extremely approachable. Like I said, when I got there, I was like, oh, like he's out of your environment and stuff. And then next thing you know, I'm eating lunch, dinner, spending the night, going for midnight.
Dude, that is so awesome.
Midnight Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so awesome. And then if I do reach out to him and he does agree to be on the podcast, I'm so gonna ask him about these midnight candy runs.
That's how we persuade him. We tell him we're gonna send him a giant box of candy. Be like,
and coffee.
And coffee. Yeah. See, there we go. Yes. We have our treats.
I love it. Folks, you heard it here on the Custom Couple.
Not only will we talk to you, but if you have a sweet tooth, we will try to help that.
We 100% don't like dentists. So
don't say that. They're gonna think we have no teeth.
Right.
You're like, don't ever meet them in person.
Don't meet him in person. His teeth aren't paid for yet. So
it's a candy thing. It's not a meth thing.
Yeah. No. It's totally candy.
Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh my God. So Chad, do you have any other shout outs that you want to throw out there?
No, man. Just my wife for being so supportive. Just Strop. Yeah, she's my rock. She's the reason I'm at where I'm at. And David Payne, one of my best friends. Tommy Berry, Tramp Hammers. Troy Banks, Tramp Hammer. That's really it, man.
Dude, I'm gonna need a support your local Tramp Hammer t-shirt.
Right.
I will wear the fuck out of that.
I'll see what I can do, man. I've kind of been thinking about prospecting for the Voodoo Kings. I don't know, like kind of taking it around. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be definitely awesome.
I mean, if I can kind of double dip, I mean, the Tramp Hammers aren't very, we don't got a lot of members. It's more of a, like a 3 or 4 cat deep thing, but the Voodoo Kings are just traditional hot rods, traditional custom. So
right, yeah. No, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I've been kicking around, man. We'll see.
That'd be absolutely cool. I think I'd just like to give some shout outs to all of our previous guests that we've had on the show so far. I'm getting a ton of messages on social media from people who are listening to these episodes, and they're telling me like these cool things about stuff that was talked about in the episode, and I'm loving this. So all of our previous guests and all of our future guests, like people are listening to this, and it's huge to me. Like I can't get over it, the fact that people are like really digging what we're doing, especially with the podcast episodes and then the live feeds that we do every Monday. Like people are tuning in, so it's growing. But Sam, you got anybody that you need to give some shout outs to this week?
I would say I shout her out all the time, and it's hilarious because she's my favorite. And she has the same name as me, but Samantha from Deluxe Creations, who does all my custom earrings and custom jewelry, because I do have plugs, and finding pinup jewelry is not easy for me because I couldn't wear it for a good couple of years. So she's actually, going to be sending us some shirts when I do my next order. So, that'll be something that we can promote. And that's the funny thing. I've just noticed everything that I'm going to wear to the Silverado Showdown, it's coming from Australia, because the dress that I had made from Violets in May, she made me that dress, and she lives in Australia. And then Deluxe Creations, they live in Australia.
Do all your jewelry and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Australia has a crazy car culture going on right now. So,
and that's what I started talking to Sam about. So that's another thing that we're going to be having here, in time, meeting people over there and them to talk about their car scene out there. So just more than a shout out, but just, a thank you to her for kind of opening that up for me and for us to learn more about. And then I have to shout out to you, sir, who joined us on this phone call. We finally get to listen and talk with you, and you just seem like a really cool, humble dude who loves building cars and meeting friends. And, we're going to have to plan a trip out to see you.
Anytime. I'm honored to be on here. And
we're going to have to do a part 2. We're going to have to do a part 2 with you, because you got so many more stories than I want to give them.
No, we can always circle back and definitely have previous guests come back and tell more stories. Because, dude, there's no way an hour will ever get all of the information in. So,
yeah, we'll do part two. I'm always down to embarrass myself.
Hell yeah. So, like I said, this episode obviously is going to be number 6. Comes out, for us, it comes out next week. So, but definitely listen to it when it comes out, because I think people are gonna fucking dig it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening to this right now, you better be fucking digging it. So, all right, folks. Well, as always in customs, keep it cool.